Imagine sitting in a small town diner, the kind where the smell of fresh coffee and pancakes fills the air, where laughter and chatter usually bounce off the walls. But that morning, everything changed. One sound silenced the room. A sharp slap. And then, a trembling voice, "I didn't do anything, sir." Before we begin, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this story will remind you, you never know who you're dealing with, or how your actions might come back to you. It all started on a rainy Thursday morning in a quiet diner just outside New Orleans. The place wasn't fancy, but it was warm, a little haven where truck drivers, families, and locals came to share breakfast and stories. Behind the counter worked a young boy named Marcus, no more than 11 years old. His mother, Ruth, was the diner's cook, a hard-working black woman with tired eyes but a heart big enough to fill the whole room. Marcus helped her every morning before school, wiping tables, pouring water for customers, sometimes bringing coffee refills. Everyone loved him for his politeness and bright smile, everyone except Chad, a local teenager whose father owned several businesses in town. Chad was used to getting what he wanted, used to people fearing his last name, Henderson. That morning, Chad and his friends swaggered in, loud and careless. They laughed, threw their wet jackets on a booth, and ordered breakfast like they owned the place. Marcus came over with his notepad, nervous but trying his best to stay professional. "Good morning, sir. What can I get for you today?" Marcus asked politely. Chad smirked. "Sir, you hear that? The little busboy calls me sir." His friends chuckled. Marcus just smiled nervously. He'd seen this before, that tone, that cruel amusement in their eyes. As Marcus brought their food, his small hands trembled slightly, and a glass of orange juice slipped. It hit the edge of the table and splashed onto Chad's sleeve. The whole diner went quiet. Chad stood up slowly, his face twisted in disgust. "You stupid little..." Before anyone could react, his hand struck Marcus across the face. The sound of the slap echoed through the diner like thunder. Marcus fell backward, his cheek red, eyes wide and watering. His mother rushed from the kitchen, shouting his name. "Marcus!" she screamed, kneeling beside him. "Baby, are you okay?" Chad sneered, "He should watch where he's going. Maybe next time, your little helper learns some manners." Every customer in the diner froze. No one moved, no one spoke. Only the sound of Marcus's soft sobs filled the room. But one man, sitting quietly in the corner, set down his coffee cup. He was tall, dressed in a dark overcoat, his presence commanding though he hadn't said a word. Nobody recognized him at first. He stood up slowly, walked to the counter, and placed a $100 bill down. Then, in a calm but deep voice, he said, "I'll take care of the check for that boy's table." Chad scoffed. "You don't have to, old man. We can afford it." The stranger turned to him, his dark eyes unreadable. "Oh, I know you can. But I think it's time you learned the cost of disrespect." Chad frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" The man took off his hat and set it on the counter. Ruth looked up, her eyes widening in disbelief. Her lips trembled. "Mr. Russo," she whispered. Chad blinked. "Wait, what?" The diner went deathly silent. Everyone knew that name. Vincenzo Russo, the most feared and respected name in the city's underworld. The quiet, calculating leader of the Russo Mafia. He rarely appeared in public, but rumor had it he owned half the restaurants, warehouses, and docks in the region. And nobody, not even politicians, dared cross him. But few knew that he had a son he kept hidden from the dangerous world he ruled. Ruth rose to her feet, her eyes full of tears. "Sir, I didn't know you were coming today." Mr. Russo turned toward Marcus and gently lifted the boy's chin. "You've grown," he said softly. "Your mother's been keeping you strong, I see." Then, looking at Chad, his expression hardened like stone. "You hit my son," he said. His voice wasn't loud, it didn't need to be. It was steady, cold, terrifying. Chad's face went pale. What? Your son?" No, I didn't know, I swear." Mr. Russo raised a hand. "That's exactly the problem. You never know who you're hurting." His men, three silent figures in suits who'd been sitting quietly in the back, stood up. The room froze. No one dared move. Mr. Russo stepped closer to Chad. "Apologies can't undo pain," he said. "But I believe in lessons." He turned to Ruth. "You want me to handle this?" Ruth hesitated. Her voice shook. No, not like that, sir. Please, let it stop here. Mr. Russo nodded slowly. You've always had more mercy than most. He looked back at Chad, his eyes dark as night. You're lucky she did. Then he leaned closer to Chad and whispered something no one else could hear. Whatever it was drained all color from the boy's face. Mr. Russo motioned for his men to leave, then crouched again beside Marcus. You okay, kid? Marcus sniffled. Yes, sir, Dad. The word hit everyone in the diner like lightning. Dad. Mr. Russo smiled softly, just for a moment. Good boy. Remember what I always tell you, strength isn't in fists. It's in holding them back when you can. He stood and looked around the diner. For anyone who saw this, let it be a reminder. Power isn't about fear. It's about how you protect the ones you love. Then he placed his hat back on his head and walked out with his son, leaving a silence that felt heavier than any words. A week later, the Henderson family sold their business and quietly left town. No one ever saw Chad again. Some said he joined the military, others whispered he'd been convinced to change his ways. But one thing was certain, no one ever forgot that day. Years later, Marcus grew up to take over the diner, and he never let anyone, no matter how powerful, treat another person like they were less. His father's lesson became his life's mission. And if you'd walked into that diner years later, you'd see a small frame behind the counter, a picture of Marcus as a boy, standing next to his father, both smiling. Below it, a simple quote. Greater than, never underestimate kindness, it's the strongest power there is. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every act of respect, every choice to do good, changes someone's story forever.